Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Licata Live. We're joined today by our special guest, Stacy Barowich with Movement Mortgage. Stacy is our preferred lender partner. She's one of the absolute best in the business, and we're really lucky to have her here today.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Mary.
being here.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So Stacy's going to give us an overview of what's happening in the lending world right now, and talk about a couple of loan programs that are available and some advice to first-time home buyers and really all home buyers in
Oh,
2025. Yep.
great. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So, good news, interest rates are down, which is awesome. Interest rates have slowly trickled down, especially after the jobs report. So, we've gone from an average 30-year fix of 6.875 to about 6.4, 6.5, roughly in there. Interest rates are always derived by the type of home you're buying, the your credit score, and the amount of down payment.
Yep.
So that kind of gives you an idea. But loan applications are up, Mary, which is great for
Great.
everybody. So that's good news. And the Fed meets later in September, and hopefully he will bring down the interest rates for the prime, which is not mortgage interest rates. The Fed doesn't control mortgage interest rates, right? But they do correlate with each other.
Great. And this is the lowest interest rates have been, I mean, in a while, right?
Since last year. Actually, interest rates were sometime last May, June of
Wow.
2024. So this is the
Hmm.
lowest we've seen them. So it's a really
Great.
great opportunity.
Yeah, that's great news.
And a little good information for everybody. The outlook for interest rates for the remainder of the year are for them to trickle down. And then the forecast for 2026 is by the end of 2026, we should definitely dip below 6%. But
Wow. Yeah.
I caution, don't wait because everything could change. Economics in this country seem to change. Obviously, we're talking about, inflation. We talk about employment. And if those things seem to rise, then interest rates could tick back up. So now is a really great time to get in. I understand that there's a really decent amount of supply on the market, Mary.
Yes, it seems like it should be a great time to buy for, I mean, there's not a lot of buyers out right now. The interest rates are lower, like you said, than they have been in almost a year and a half. And then, there's a good amount of inventory to choose from. It's been so low the past few years. There's more out there now for buyers to choose from. Buyers finally have some room to negotiate in some cases with prices as we see homes staying on the market longer. And the average days on market, and it varies from, we serve a pretty wide area, but like right here in Orange County where we're located, for example, I think the average days on market through July was like 30 days, which is longer than what we've seen. And in most of the areas that we watch, um, you know, new pendings last month are generally around about a third of the listings that are available,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that two-thirds of listings aren't selling within that month. And so there's a lot of opportunity for buyers right now, um, to like I said, have room to negotiate combined with the lowered interest rates. It's a great time to buy.
Well, let's segue into that because
Mm-hmm.
there's first time home buyer programs that people should be looking into. If you're a first time home buyer, you're currently renting, now's a great time to get out, talk with a mortgage lender, talk with a realtor. They'll get you in connect with a professional mortgage lender. Um, uh, Virginia Housing just offered increased their purchase price allowance and also increased the income requirements. So, which is great news for first-time home buyers that may have been a little skewed out of the market. This is a great opportunity. In Orange County, you have they call it a USDA program. It's 100% financing as well. So there are a ton of programs that have grants, down payment assistance. Some offer closing cost credits. You just have to get pre-qualified for them. I
Yeah.
think that's the best thing
Mm-hmm.
to do. And now is probably a really great time going into the fall to locate that house of your dreams. I caution people is because when the interest rates will eventually come down. You're going to have more people to compete with. So
Mhm.
now is a great time to get in with there's less competition in the market so that you can actually get the house of your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, Stacy, something a lot of buyers, who are just starting the process, they ask me, they are, what will my payments be on this purchase price, or what, they just really don't have any idea what price range they should be looking at. Is that something that you can help people with when they're starting
Absolutely.
out?
First thing to do is always definitely talk to a licensed loan officer. Those of us that are licensed have a requirement through the state and the national region and then the United States. So the best part is to figure out what your budget is and sitting down with a loan officer, figuring out what you can and can't afford, what your comfort payment is, and then we can work towards that amount. And then Mary and the Licata team can actually show you homes, put you up on a drip campaign showing you which homes are available. You'll have already gotten your pre-approval done up front. So the financing part, the sticky wicket, usually like we like to say, is that it's all done in advance.
Yeah.
So you know when you're going out to look for a house, you know you can afford it and buy it.
Yeah, and you're also in a position where if you find something you really love, you're ready to put an offer in
Right
rather than
then.
having to go through the pre-approval process then, because if you love the house, chances are someone else does too, and if someone who is pre-qualified gets there before you,
Yeah.
you don't want to be in that situation.
and,
So
and and also it also lets you know that you can afford that house.
Mhm.
Like there's nothing worse than going into a house that you absolutely fall in love
Yeah.
with and realize that it's not something you're quite qualified
Yeah.
for. So that's a really good idea. And I know people worry about getting their credits pulled. We have two options. We have a soft pull where it really doesn't ding your interest, your credit score. And another big thing to talk about is a hard pull. The CFPB has said in the past, and also credit bureau says, like, having a mortgage company pull your credit score doesn't truly ding your credit score. It's when you have multiple people pulling your credit scores. Mortgage is one of the biggest investments that you will ever make, so it's a very minimum amount of impact to your credit score.
Mhm.
And they anticipate you to shop during that time frame. So that's one of those things that I'd say that you shouldn't really worry about. Like, this gives you a good idea.
Mhm.
On that note, though, I just want to add the credit score that you see on your bank card statements or your transactions, I mean, any of your credit card statements, that's not your mortgage score. They're totally different. So those are different scores. And I know that we all recently saw, and if you've seen in the news, that they're allowing for the Vanguard score to be used the Vantage score to be used as opposed to the regular FICO. Yes, they are implementing that. No, it's not implemented yet. There's a lot of stuff in the back end that has to get designed and programs for us to do it. But I anticipate that to roll out within the next 6 months for it to happen. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. And if someone, if you run numbers for someone and say, they've got possibly some credit issues or, a couple of things they need to work, can you help point them in the right direction of
Absolutely.
what they need to do to get there and, kind of have a plan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we definitely, and I call that credit counseling, and I
Yeah.
do that. If you think that you may have some hiccups on your credit and you're not looking to buy 6 months from now, get with me or a lender locally now and find out what things you need to do now so that you are ready to buy in 3, 6 months, 8 months down the road. So this is a really great opportunity for you to do that.
That's great. Thank you so much, Stacy. This is great information, really helpful. And if anyone needs to get in touch with you, what's the best way to?
You can reach out to Mary
Yeah,
because she has
okay.
my contact
Yes.
information. You can reach out to the Licata team, or you can just text me 703-629-6678.
Great.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Stacy. And we'll see you next week on Licata Live.